Rabbits have become smarter than people, put on a jacket, and turned the lives of the village residents into a nightmare. This is the cartoon Peter Rabbit, and you will surely enjoy it. Several sparrows are singing in the sky, but when they land, a rabbit named Peter bumps into them, running at full throttle. Along the way, he manages to escape from the cunning fox, talk to a little frog, and promise to a little hedgehog to bring her a head of cauliflower. Peter meets up with his cousin Benji and his triplet sisters Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail. They always argue about which one of them is the oldest. All the rabbits wear jackets. For instance, Peter has got a blue one and Benjamin has got a brown one. The rabbits sneak into Mr. McGregor's garden. Meanwhile, the old man is mowing the lawn. Peter throws vegetables over the fence and his sisters and Benji catch them. The farmer's lawnmower shuts down and the man hears suspicious noise coming from his garden. That's the rabbits. McGregor chases after Peter all over his garden, trying to hit him with a rake and threatens to put him in a pie. The rabbit can easily escape from the farmer, but decides to shove a carrot into his pants. McGregor is enraged. Peter's jacket gets caught on a wire, and the farmer is about to catch him. McGregor's neighbor named Bear rescues the rabbit. She invites the rabbit into her house. This woman is a painter and she paints strange paintings that no one understands. Also, she loves painting rabbits. But her paintings evoke an uneasy memory in Peter about his deceased parents. The thing is, McGregor put his father in a pie. The old man hangs Peter's jacket on a pole and the rabbit wants to get it back. He crawls into the farmer's garden again, takes the jacket, puts it on and runs towards the garden gate. At this moment, McGregor throws a scythe over him. He holds the scared bunny by the ears and is happy because now no one can rescue him. Suddenly, McGregor suffers a heart attack. This is how his 78-year-long life ends. Peter boasts before the other rabbits that he managed to defeat McGregor. An ambulance takes away the farmer's body. The rabbit enters the garden and feasts on the farmer's vegetables and fruits. Other animals also hurry there, including a badger, a fox, a pigling and a deer. Then the animals get inside McGregor's house and cause a real mess. They have never had such a cool party. The rabbits hang a picture of their parents above the fireplace. The next scene takes place in London. McGregor's nephew named Thomas works as a manager in a toy store. Thomas loves his job and dreams about promotion. Alas, it's not him who gets the new job position. Rather, it's the director's nephew. On top of that, Thomas gets told that his great-uncle that lived in the village has died. The man destroys the sales floor in a fit of rage, smashing and breaking everything. He even beats up a teddy bear. Thomas is sacked. He is advised to take care of his mental health. Thomas learns that he has inherited a house with a courtyard in the village. They cost quite a lot. That money should be enough for him to open up his own toy shop. Thomas arrives in the village. He sees a complete mess in the house. The animals try to hide, however, some of them don't do it well, especially Tommy the badger. However, the first animal Thomas sees is the pigling. Here comes the rest of the animals. The man chases off all the intruders. On the next day, he cleans the house, tidies up the garden plot and even patches up the holes in the fence. Bear comes to him. She introduces herself to Thomas, gives him binoculars for observing birds and asks him not to close the garden gate so that the animals could roam there. Thomas agrees with the beautiful bear. However, he does close the garden gate after she leaves. But Peter knows a way to get inside McGregor's garden. He asks Benji to join him. Together, they sneak into the farmer's property. Thomas chases after them. He turns out to be more agile than his elderly uncle was. The man catches Benji and puts him into a sack, saying that he will deal with him and will do all that he can to stop the rabbits from invading his garden. Thomas gets his pickup truck. He puts a sack with Benji on the passenger seat. Peter and his sister sneak into the back of the truck. While Thomas drives, they distract him and substitute Benji for the binoculars that Bear had given him. Thomas throws the binoculars into the river, but then he realizes his mistake and takes it out of the water. He gets in his car and drives to the city. The rabbits in the back of the truck go there too. The man buys explosives and an electric fence at the hardware store. There he also meets Bear, who went to the city by bicycle. The man offers her a drive home. The rabbits see Thomas loading the bicycle onto the back of the truck and Bear getting into the passenger seat, so they also jump into the truck. In the village, the young woman invites Thomas to visit her house. The man says that he likes her paintings except the ones depicting rabbits. The young woman assures him that they are very nice, funny and kind. They can even ask for forgiveness, touching someone else's forehead with their forehead. The rabbits watch Thomas and Bear develop romantic feelings. They ride bicycles together, do yoga, boat, spend times by the bonfire in the evening, have picnics and shelter from the rain. Peter bursts into Bear's house. Thomas pretends to like the rabbit. Bear wants to draw Thomas holding Peter in his arms. As she is preparing for the artistic process, Peter and Thomas engage in real combat. While fighting, they damage one of Bear's paintings. Thomas blames it all on Peter. Bear gets very angry and chases the rabbit away from her house. This is when Peter declares war on Thomas. His sisters actively practice firing fruits using slingshots. The rabbits set up traps in Thomas's room and lay rakes on the floor. Waking up, Thomas gets into every single trap. Peter is very content. To take revenge on the rabbits, Thomas sets up an electric fence. He uses peanut butter as bait. The female hedgehog tastes the treat and gets electrocuted so much that she loses some of her quills. You remember that the rabbits are very smart, don't you? They switch off the electricity, lick the peanut butter at their pleasure and dance energetically in the farmer's garden. Thomas wants to leave the house. He touches the door handle and receives a strong electric shock. Then one more, and one more again. The man is forced to leave the house through his roof. However, he falls off it and loses consciousness. Thomas regains consciousness only at night. He is so angry that he stuffs a lot of explosives into the rabbit's burrow. Leaving her house, Bear catches sight of him. Thomas lies to her that he is gathering field flowers. The man gives her a bouquet and she invites him to her house. On the next day, the rabbits attack Thomas in his own garden. They fire fruits at the enemy using the slingshot. At the same time, the man chats with Bear, who doesn't see how the rabbits are attacking her neighbor behind the fence. They learned that Thomas is allergic to blackberries, and they aim the berries right at his mouth. Bear asks if the loud music bothers Thomas and goes back inside the house. At this moment, one of the blackberries is fired right into his mouth. He falls to the ground, but at the very last moment he manages to inject himself with antihistamine and comes back to life. Peter is amazed. This seems to be some kind of magic. Enraged, Thomas throws explosives at the rabbits. Our long-eared heroes are in mortal danger. Mopsy is injured. Actually, it's just a tomato. Peter attacks Thomas and beats him up with his paws. The battle rages on. Bear doesn't hear the explosions because she is painting her painting to very loud music. When she goes outside, she notices that Thomas holds Peter. The man lies to his friend that the poor rabbit choked on radish and he saved his life. Thomas accidentally drops the remote control that he used to blow up the rabbit's burrows, and cunning Peter immediately pushes the button. Bear realizes that Thomas lied to her. A series of explosions is heard. One of the giant trees falls right onto Bear's home. The woman is in despair. She no longer has a home or paintings. Now she will have to move out of the village. Peter has won. But why isn't he happy? Thomas returns to London and meets the manager of the store where he used to work. Turns out his rival retired and went to live in France. Having heard this, the man agrees to return to work. The rabbits blame Peter for what he did. Even though he got rid of Thomas, he destroyed their burrows and also Bear's home. The rabbit promises to rectify the mistake. He goes to London along with Benji by a real train and asks the local rat where the toy store is. The rat gives the rabbits a tour of London and takes them to the store where Thomas works. Peter asks the man to return to the village. For Thomas, a talking rabbit proves to be a bit too much. The man chases after the rabbit all over the store and breaks and destroys everything once again. Finally, he agrees with his long-eared enemy. He jumps out of the window and travels back to the village with Peter and Benji. They use all the available means of transportation to make it on time. Well, what about Bear? She is loading her suitcases onto the taxi and is about to leave the village. But Peter's sisters shove a carrot into the car's exhaust pipe. This helps to delay the trip a little. After the repair, the taxi starts moving. However, a deer walking out of the forest blocks the road. Thomas manages to arrive before Bear's departure. He asks her to stay in the village and tells her that he loves her. Bear reapproaches him for trying to blow up the rabbits. Then Peter takes the remote control out of his jacket and shows how he pushed the button with his paw. The rabbit presses his guilty face against the young woman's forehead, showing that he is very sorry. Bear forgives Thomas, but now she's got nowhere to live. At this moment, a married couple arrive at Thomas's house. Turns out the man has managed to sell it. Thomas wants to cancel the deal, but the buyers strongly oppose this and want to see their new home. Peter with his friends come to Thomas's aid. The rabbit applies electricity to the door handle again. The married couple want to walk inside and get electrocuted. The animals sneak into the house, make real mess and set up traps there. The buyers refuse to buy the house right away. Bear stays to live in the village. Some time goes by. Now Bear and Thomas are in love. They move to London and find new jobs. Flopsy writes a captivating story about the adventures in the village. She gives it a simple title, Peter Rabbit.